I'm going to start recording, and I'll go ahead and officially introduce myself. Some of you know me, some of you know me through Facebook or social media. My name is Nina Cecina, and I am not a doctor or a nurse or a healthcare professional. I like to give that little disclosure that I won't be giving any medical advice or diagnosing or prescribing anything. I am a certified aromatherapy coach. I'm a licensed spiritual healer. I'm a pastor. I'm an autoimmune survivor, which is what gives me all of the passion for holistic wellness. When Western medicine failed me with my autoimmune disease, and I turned to alternative treatments, and that ended up being what worked. It really set me on the course to look at more natural ways of living, which helped me change my eating habits and start eating clean, start using essential oils for just about everything under the sun, start looking at the products in my home, cleaning products, personal care products, looking at ingredients and toxic things that had probably been harming my health that I didn't know. And I've been in remission for 16 years. And I'm certain that it's because of all of the lifestyle changes that I've made that I've held on to that. So that's the short story of my testimony. I'm going to go ahead. Actually, before I screen share, I am going to share another story with you just related to hormones, because when I started using essential oils about 6 or 7 years ago, like I've always struggled my whole young adult and adult life with very, very painful menstrual cycles. I never really got a lot of PMS symptoms, when people experience irritability or mood swings or stuff like that. I didn't have a lot of that, but what I really had was extremely painful menstrual cramps the first day to 2 days of my cycle. And I never struggled with migraine headaches, but the pain that I would feel in my uterus, I could only compare it to like a migraine. It would feel like my uterus was in a vice and it was being like wrung out. Like the pressure that I would feel in my abdomen was, I would get nauseous. Sometimes I would almost vomit. I would be just in bed with a heating pad. And, when people with migraines say like, I can't have the lights on, I can't have any sounds or the TV on, that's how I felt with how bad my cramps would be. I could barely just like concentrate on breathing. I was in so much pain. I could take large amounts of anti-inflammatory medications and it might maybe take the edge off, but then I would have an upset stomach from taking too many, Advils or Aleve or something like that. So when I started using essential oils and wanting to do things more naturally, I thought what I needed was something anti-inflammatory that I could rub on my abdomen during that time of the month. Like give me some oils. Now let me see what oils I can put on that's going to help relieve the pain that I'm having. And there are some great oils that can do that. But what I realized was that wasn't really my problem. I didn't realize that my hormones were so out of whack that that's what was causing the pain that I was having every month. And it wasn't until I started supporting my hormones that my symptoms started to get a little bit easier. I also struggled with infertility. I have a beautiful family. My son is adopted after undergoing, the whole 9 yards of infertility treatments. And I never connected the dots on, my hormones just being so who knows what, that I was struggling with infertility. I was having these painful periods, and I never connected the dots that I was having an imbalance situation with my hormones. So as we go along, I'm going to be sharing my testimony for what I tried that actually really started working. And I have to share like a praise report, because just this past cycle, and my cycles have gotten better and better and better over the course of like the past 2 years. But this past month was the very first month ever in my life that I took 0 Advil for anything, like totally because even still,
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It is. Yes, Tiffany, it is, because you've kind of walked with me through that. And just this past cycle, you used a lot of oils, I used different things, and I didn't even feel the need to like tap into the medicine chest. So that was just a huge, huge victory. And I wanted to share that.
Congratulations. Yeah, I definitely walked alongside you for a long time and just like looking at your journey and stuff. So that's really cool.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to screen share. We're going to start what I've got prepared on the PowerPoint. We've got a lot of general information about balancing our hormones, and there are some tidbits for anybody that might be entering into the years, our years of menopause. I am 47, and I'm going to speak very openly and candidly. I don't have any perimenopause symptoms yet, but my goal for myself is to get my hormones in good balance. So when that starts to shift, I don't have all of the symptoms that a lot of ladies experience when their bodies start shifting into menopause. And so just the different age brackets as we move through our years. Obviously, when we're below 38, we're in our childbearing years. Everybody here is in different age brackets, and I love that because everybody's welcome in our group. Perimenopausal is kind of in that bracket of 38 to 45. Again, I'm 47 and I haven't experienced that yet. So of course, these are flexible. So we have our production of hormones begins to decline. This may create an imbalance for some women. As we move into our menopausal years, the hormones continue to drop. Estrogen takes the biggest drop, and low estrogen may cause bone loss. This sometimes causes doctors to want to give an estrogen supplement, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later on about synthetic hormone replacement supplements and whether or not that's something that you might want to take or forego because it's not the natural route. And then in our postmenopausal years, 55 plus, symptoms such as hot flashes often stop if that's something you were struggling with when you were younger. Bone loss and osteoporosis may continue to be a concern, but there are also a lot of different ways and natural ways to support your bones and your, skeletal structure and all of that stuff too. Now, different kinds of estrogen. Our body makes 3 different kinds of estrogen. The human estrogen, that's what our body is responsible for creating. And those are called estrone, estradiol, and estriol. There's also phytoestrogens. Phyto in the Greek just means plant. It means estrogens that come from plants, and they can be used beneficially by people. Now, I had a question pop up in the class over the weekend. What about soy? Is that a phytoestrogen? Because a lot of us want to stay away from soy because of what it can do to our estrogen levels and our hormones. And what I have to admit was that was a great question. I'm continuing to research that. And what it seems like probably is that all phytoestrogens are not created equal. And the type of phytoestrogen that soy offers and the way it binds to our estrogen receptor sites can be undesirable. So I'm just going to say that it's something I'm continuing to research. I didn't have like a great research answer about that yet. So I'm going to find out and I'll continue to update on what I've learned. Xenoestrogens, in the Greek, xeno just means strange. It means unidentifiable. These are derived from petrochemical byproducts, and they are dangerous for people. So when we hear about toxins in different products and how they can disrupt our endocrine system, that's because the xenoestrogens are present. If we have, like things that are derived from plastic, or even overuse of plastic containers or heating plastic containers. And some of those things that we're starting to learn aren't healthy for us are because the xenoestrogens are present in those types of chemicals. And then there's synthetic estrogens that are produced by the pharmaceutical companies to enhance or support us as hormone replacement therapy. We're going to learn a little bit more about HRT, but I'm just going to leave this there as a synthetic estrogen, and we're going to touch on it again in a few minutes.
Hey, Nina, I know you're teaching amazing stuff. Do you want me to kind of keep an eye on the comments for you and just kind of like?
That'd be awesome. Thank you. I was going to,
okay.
And then I forgot. So yeah, if you want to keep an eye on the chat box and let me know. So everybody's welcome to ask a question. You're welcome to ask out loud. You're welcome to pop something in that little chat function, and then Tiffany will field that for me. So yeah, Tiff, thank you so much.
Yeah, so we actually already have one comment. Janelle said that she is 37, 38 next month, and I have only had 4 periods since my 3-year-old was born.
Okay.
So just kind of keep that in mind, Nina, if there's anything that pops out for you.
There's going to be some great information, Janelle. That's a great question. And if you don't mind my asking, how long has it been since so you said your 3-year-old. So in 3 years, right? It's been that long.
Yes.
Okay.
It came very sporadically and the doctors aren't sure what's going on yet. So I'm very interested in what I can learn here.
Great. That's a great question. We're going to be talking about lots of different things that we can do to just kind of get those hormones balanced and working properly. At the end, one of our slides towards the end is also a cycle reset protocol. And it's going to be like from day 1 of your cycle until the end, certain oils and things that you can do to kind of hit the reset button on your cycle. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later too. And I apologize, I forgot to share my resource. The information in our book, the majority of it in our class, the majority of it came from this purple book called Menopause Essentials, The Ultimate Guide to Optimal Aging. The author is Dr. Tamara Camo. And I'm also happy to share that resource and the resource website that I purchased it from. It is excellent information just for like all hormone stuff in general. So when we talk about hormones being a little bit imbalanced, and sometimes you might have even heard the term estrogen dominance, which it seems like if we have too much estrogen, that can create an imbalance problem. But the real problem isn't that we have too much estrogen, it's that we have too low progesterone. So think of your estrogen and progesterone like a seesaw. If your estrogen is too high, the way you lower it is to increase your progesterone. And there's some natural ways of doing that. But just some symptoms of if that happens. So if you can check any of these off the list, these are all possible symptoms for estrogen dominance, which is also low progesterone. Mood swings, irritability, low libido, worsening PMS symptoms, irregular periods, heavy periods, bloating, weight gain, hair loss. So there's, we had a question about that a little bit earlier. Hair loss could be a symptom of needing to naturally enhance your progesterone levels. Trouble sleeping, fatigue, fertility issues, memory problems or mental fog, and hot flashes. So if you can check the box, I know personally I can check the box on at least a handful of these, enough to raise a red flag to go, okay, I think I want to pay attention to that. Possibly I could be estrogen dominant. And we're going to talk about an essential oil blend that's going to be really helpful in supporting that progesterone and helping our body produce what it needs. One of the ways we can indirectly support our hormones, so there's going to be some direct ways like using some essential oils and supplements, and there's some indirect ways by supporting other organs and body systems, which are in turn going to support our hormones. Before menopause, our estrogen and progesterone are both produced by produced by the ovaries and the adrenals. So the ovaries and the adrenals both play a role in producing our hormones when we're younger. During menopause, the ovarian activities are greatly reduced, and the adrenals become the major supplier of these hormones. So if we're experiencing high levels of stress for a prolonged amount of time, right? We know our adrenals are responsible for that cortisol production. If our adrenals can get fatigued, and we can experience adrenal fatigue, and so an imbalance in our hormones can happen during that time. So supporting our stress levels and reducing stress, managing stress is definitely going to help your adrenals, which is in turn going to help your hormones. The majority of menopausal problems are with the adrenals. So support the adrenals. There's some essential oils that we love to use that specifically target the adrenals. Nutmeg essential oil is one of them. Endoflex is another one. And energy is also supporting for the adrenals. Sometimes I take energy oil blend and put it right over my adrenals, and that can just support that as an organ or a body system.
So Nina, I have a friend who wanted to come, but she's a teacher and she's under a ton of stress.
Yes.
And I totally feel for her because she's a coworker of mine. And they kind of straight up, they kind of abuse her and totally take advantage of her. And I know that she's crazy stressed out. So if she is that stressed out all the time, does that mean that her adrenals are shot?
It could mean she's at risk for adrenal fatigue. And that's actually, that kind of has its own cluster of symptoms, which, I'd have to take a look at that specifically. But my heart feels for teachers right now, because as a teacher and a former classroom teacher, I totally get it. And teachers are on my heart for that reason. Prolonged stress with that heightened cortisol, it can hurt your immune system. It will reduce your immune system's ability to function. It will affect your adrenal function.
Her immune system, she knows is not up to par right now.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
Right, it does. So I would definitely suggest that she, do some natural things to support her immune system specifically. A few tips, but I know you know a lot about that, and that would be kind of like a whole other class, but
no worries.
And supplements and stuff for immune system. But besides that too, managing stress and whatever we can do in the area of self-care, whether that's, I do Tai Chi and martial arts, or yoga, or just deep breathing exercises. And, I love to use essential oils for stuff like that. So if you're using some oils that are relaxing, or, whatever she can do to help get that little bit of self-care. I know it's so hard, but anything she can do to help reduce her stress will be helpful for her.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yes. And so I'm going to click to go ahead and enable the live transcription. Is that all right? Okay. Thank you, Tiffany. So some different ways that we can support our adrenals. Our adrenals are in charge of adrenaline and cortisol, and that's our fight or flight function. And we can feel that in our body, right? When those adrenals kick in, that adrenaline, and that's a good thing for our body to be able to do. But when we live in that, because we're in a heightened, stressful situation, then we need to manage that. Prolonged stressful situations with prolonged heightened cortisol can lead to adrenal fatigue and other issues like immune system dysfunction. Excess cortisol also can erode the intestinal lining. And that was actually new information for me as I was studying for our class, that a lot of times when we have that heightened cortisol for a prolonged period of time, digestive issues will come along with that. So supporting your digestion will also help support your hormones and your adrenal function and all of that. So some essential oils for adrenal support, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, nutmeg, endoflex, and energy. So Tiffany, your friend that is experiencing, you know, a lot of stress. So managing stress, yes, but also supporting her adrenals with some of the oils that we have listed might be helpful for her too.
Okay, great. She's actually on Subscribe to Save, so I'll help her with her next order, I think, and just kind of like relay the information because I know she wanted to make it. She just couldn't.
Oh, awesome. That sounds great. Now there's actually specific probiotics in your microbiome that are specifically for processing your estrogen. It's called the estrobolome, also known as the estrogen microbiome. So the estrobolome is a collection of bacteria in the gut, which is capable of metabolizing and modulating the body's circulating estrogen. It's the bacteria in the gut and the estrobolome that affects estrogen levels, which in turn can impact weight, libido, and mood. So key, take care of your gut. So another way to indirectly support your hormones is to support your gut. Take, you know, whether that's a probiotic supplement, Young Living has an excellent one, or eating fermented foods. I love my kimchi. I love my kombucha. Anything that you do to support your gut and your digestion is also going to help your hormones. And it's going to help your immune system too, because about 70% of your immune system lives in that gut bacteria also. So I'm huge on gut support. So probiotics, prebiotics, fermented food are going to be very helpful. So if we're experiencing that estrogen dominance or excess estrogen, it can cause fibroids, endometriosis, painful periods, irregular cycles, cysts, heavy bleeding, etc. So if you struggle with any of these, excess estrogen could be what you're experiencing. It's the liver's job to process, not create estrogen. As we cleanse the liver, we're not removing estrogen. We're allowing the liver to process and use the estrogen we have. So another way to indirectly help our hormones is to support our liver. Love your liver. There's a food that is paramount to your body's handling of estrogen. All right, there's one food that we can eat that's going to help our body process our estrogen properly. Are you ready for it? It's broccoli. Broccoli has a specific enzyme that when we steam the broccoli just a bit and we consume it, it helps our body process our estrogen. So broccoli is like the number one, but any of those cruciferous vegetables, Karen mentioned it, getting some Brussels sprouts this week for her meal plan for the week, and cauliflower, what else? Kale, all those cruciferous vegetables. Ooh, Tiff, what do you got there? Is that broccoli? Awesome. All right.
Yes, I learned that from you last time, and I bought like a big thing of broccoli.
Oh, that is perfect. And when we talked about it in my in-person class on Saturday, we were also talking about one of the snack that I put out some trail mix that had the wolfberries, the dried wolfberries in it. And then I remembered, because a friend of mine, she was saying how she didn't really care for broccoli, and she was hoping for maybe some broccoli recipes. And I remembered in one of my cookbooks, and I've made it a bunch of times, I've got a recipe for a quinoa side dish with broccoli and wolfberries in it. And it's delicious. So I'm going to have to share that, because you get your broccoli and you get your wolfberries, and it's part of this little quinoa side dish. So I'm going to post that somewhere where I can tag everybody and share that with you. This is a quote from a book called Road to Wellness, written by a woman named Deborah Rayburn. And she's a leader in Young Living, but before that, she was a certified herbalist and nutritionist. And she would do nutritional counseling. And this is a direct quote from her book because it was so powerful. She said, when I was consulting, young girls and ladies tried various supplements, many specific for the issues they were addressing, and many times they were quite successful. However, nearly every single time a woman went on a liver cleanse prior to taking supplements, those supplements were never needed. Fibroids vanished, periods returned to normal, hot flashes ceased, and life in general went back to normal. There's no reason that a woman at any age needs to suffer when a really good liver cleanse can provide so much relief. This does not mean that a supplement won't be of great value, but until you address the liver, you will not get your maximum benefit. And so that just really highlights the importance of making sure our liver is healthy, because the liver is what processes all of our hormones for detoxing and just for metabolizing those hormones properly. And it's interesting to me too, that as many cleanses as I've done and as many different ways I support my liver, it might not be just the essential oils and supplements I'm using to support my hormones. It could be that my reduction in my painful period symptoms could have been reduced by some liver cleansing that I've done over the past couple of years. It's hard to say when something works and you're doing a few different things, it's hard to put your finger on what it was that worked, or maybe it was all of it together, which usually is what I believe. Now, we could have a whole class on all of the side effects and the hazards of hormone replacement therapy, but here's just a few bullet points. If you're to the point where your medical doctor might be recommending hormone replacement therapy. Now, disclaimer again, I'm not a medical doctor, and I'm not going to give you advice I'm not going to tell you to not follow the advice of your healthcare professional. What I am going to say is you're the boss of you, and you never have to do something you're uncomfortable with. If you need to have a difficult or an uncomfortable conversation with your doctor to let them know what you're willing to do and not do. When I was struggling with autoimmune disease and I had to deal with pharmaceuticals, I would go into my doctor with a list and say, I'll do this, 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 and this. I've read the side effects on that other stuff, and I'm not comfortable with that. So be the consumer of your healthcare and find a doctor that you can partner with, who truly treats you like a partner in your health. And if you feel like that's, you're not having that relationship with your doctor, then I would encourage you to find someone that you can partner with for finding what's best for you. That being said, hormones are not replaced with a natural copy. So when we're talking about synthetic hormone replacement therapy, and on our first slide, when we talked about the estrogen that our body can produce, the 3 different kinds of estrogen, when you take a synthetic estrogen, it's not the exact same thing. And your body doesn't react to it in the same way that it reacts to what your body can make. Synthetic hormones will always have side effects. Now, again, there's that risk to benefit. There might be times when you need to consider that and you weigh the cost of the side effects. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or not do, but make sure you're a knowledgeable consumer of your healthcare and whatever your doctor is recommending. Often the purpose of hormone replacement therapy is to replace estrogen, but most menopausal women are not deficient in estrogen. They're deficient in progesterone. So sometimes you could be offered a medication that's not quite dealing with the level or the hormone that you even need. Most women are deficient in progesterone, and the estrogen and progesterone need to be in balance. It's not that the estrogen gets too high. The problem is that the progesterone is too low. So this is the exciting part. We're going to start to talk about things we can do. Now we can feel empowered about some essential oils and some supplements that we might choose to use to balance our hormones. And something to think about also, you know, when we choose these natural options, they're not medications and they're not like taking a pill. It's like giving our body tools to balance the things that we need to balance. It's feeding our bodies because our bodies are designed to be in right balance if we give it the building blocks that it needs. And that's what we're doing when we use natural products, when we use essential oils and supplements. We're feeding our body the tools so that our body can maintain balance. There's a flip in our thinking when we shift our thinking from symptom management to system maintenance, if that makes sense. We're so ingrained to think like Western medicine. I have a symptom, I need a pill for that. We're going to flip the script. We're going to start to think about ways to maintain our body's system function. So first up is endoflex. Endoflex is a general endocrine system support. And endoflex was the first oil that I started using when I started paying attention to the fact that my hormones might need some support. So I just went for like the general endocrine system. You'll notice that endoflex has, it comes in a bottle with a red label and it comes in a bottle with a white label. The cool thing about that, there's the exact same oil in both bottles, but Young Living has the FDA approval to label it as a dietary supplement. So anything with a white label that says vitality, we know is safe to ingest, which means I can apply my endoflex topically, or I can put it in a capsule and take it internally. I love the flavor of endoflex. It tastes a bit like spearmint. And so a lot of times I'll put it in some ice water. But this was the first oil I started using every day for hormone support. I take a drop of endoflex and I rub it right over my thyroid every day. That's still part of my everyday routine. Endoflex amplifies the metabolism and vitality and creates hormone balance. It supports a healthy endocrine system. Now, the first time I used endoflex, I used it for so long and I still kind of felt like, you know, I'm glad to be supporting my endocrine system. It didn't yet reduce my pain that I was having in my menstrual cycle, but I didn't cast that aside and say endoflex didn't work. I just knew I needed to keep going. I stayed with my endoflex and I added on something else. And as we go through our slides, I'll let you know what those something else things were, because it ended up being very powerful and I could tell when my cycle started to shift. It was when I started using clary sage. I think in the interim, I also started using the oil called Sclerescence Plus. That's the progesterone supplement. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But after I had tried endoflex and Sclerescence Plus, then I moved on to clary sage. A lot of ladies love clary sage so much, they call it Queen Clary. If I could put a crown on my clary sage, I would. Because the other thing I struggled with, in addition to very painful cycles, was very short cycles. My cycle would be maybe 22 or 23 days. And when you experience the pain that I was having every 23rd day, let me tell you, that visitor was not welcome. And I would have done anything for a 28 or a 30-day cycle just to put off the pain that I knew I was going to feel. I actually would experience anxiety over knowing my period was going to come and I was going to be so sick, which also made me feel like that stress and anxiety made me recognize that that probably made it worse, because then I was stressed and anxious about it. And that made the pain that much more worse, if you know what I mean. Like when our bodies can't regulate stress, it's like everything feels worse. So the day I got my clary sage in the mail, I was already experiencing like the onset, like the beginning of my cramps. And I knew my period was going to be starting that day. And so I was already feeling, you know, like kind of anxious, like I'm going to be in so much pain. It would be so bad. I'd have to clear my schedule. What am I going to not do because I can't handle life for the next 24 hours? So my clary sage comes, I grab my clary sage. I don't even remember where I put it. Now, when I use clary sage, I put on a couple of drops and I rub it right over my adrenals. Your adrenals are on your back, right above your kidneys. That first day, I'm not even sure what I did with it, but what I remember is as soon as I put it on, my symptoms that my period was coming stopped. And my period waited another 2 or 3 or 4 days before I actually got it. And I knew that was my first inkling that finally I was doing something right. I was doing enough to start to see that shift in what was going on with my hormones. It was really powerful, and it was clary sage that did that. Now, obviously, everybody's experiences are going to be different. So I can't say that clary sage is going to do the exact same thing for you that it did for me, but I knew it was helping my hormones and the kind of balance that my body needed. Clary sage can help with menstrual discomforts and PMS, hormonal imbalance, any kind of women's ailment. Some of the oils we're going to see get tagged as estrogen-like, and I want to make sure I clarify, not like a synthetic hormone estrogen. What it's going to do is help your body produce the correct amount of estrogen, and it's going to support your body's own estrogen. It can help with insomnia. I know ladies that like this in the diffuser at nighttime. It can enhance your immune system. It can reduce inflammation, such as muscle spasms or skin conditions. This isn't one that I typically put over my abdomen when I'm experiencing cramps, but note to self, I definitely want to try that and see if it helps when I do have some cramps during that time of the month. So Progescence Plus, if I'm remembering correctly, is probably the second oil that I tried in my journey. So first I tried endoflex, then Progescence Plus, and then I started using clary sage. Again, we nickname it Pro Plus. Pro Plus is an oil that I use every day so those are my top 3: endoflex, clary sage, and Pro Plus. This one is actually flagged as a serum or a supplement, and you won't usually see it listed with the essential oils. Even though it has essential oils in it, it has wild yam extract in it, and that's the natural progesterone that we can use to help our body's progesterone levels. I put a few drops of this on my forearm every day and just rub it in. And so this is one of my everyday oils. It increases your hormone balance naturally. It enhances the natural effects of progesterone with wild yam. It's a serum that's infused with essential oils. It promotes feelings of relaxation, harmony, and balance. And it nourishes and moisturizes the skin. Some ladies put this right on their face or they put it in their skin cream. I've never tried that, but I have dry skin sometimes, and I think it would really be nice. I'm totally going to try that sometime. And it may help with hot flashes and night sweats. Later on, we're going to have a slide that's a hot flash protocol. And if that's something that you're struggling with, this is one of the things that can be helpful. Tiffany, how are we doing on questions? Do we have any questions coming in the chat? Not for now? Okay.
No questions, but we did have a couple of comments just like throughout. Aubrey said that she loves nutmeg in her coffee.
Yes.
So that's interesting. So nutmeg's a little strong for me. So if it is strong for you, I'd recommend using a toothpick first and
Mhm.
putting that in and then using it in your coffee and gradually adding it in. Grace said, wow, I have been eating broccoli and Brussels sprouts a lot because my mom loves it. Good to know.
That's great.
And I totally feel for you, Nina, because I've been there where like cramps are just so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I knew I was calling into work. I knew that I was going to be
Mhm.
down and out. Like it was horrendous and we couldn't figure it out. They wanted to put me on birth control and I
Mhm.
said no. Eventually they got me to try NuvaRing for a time.
Mhm.
And then once I found oils, I
Uh-huh.
started trying like some of this other stuff, like Pro Plus. I have Pro Plus. I actually have to
Mhm.
put more on my order because I'm almost out.
Yeah.
But I have to say another thing when I was researching, and this is recent research,
Mhm.
holistic stuff for cramps and pain in general, vitamin D was recommended. And I was like, shoot, let's give it a go. Right.
Awesome.
So I put some vitamin D on my order and I took it, noticed a massive difference. I didn't take it because I forgot and I was in pain again. And Steve was like, what happened? You had such a good
Mhm.
month last month. And I
Right.
was like, I didn't take my vitamin D. So that just goes to show like everybody's different and how you need to support your own self. Like you got to figure it out. And I've tried various things. So like the fact that I needed vitamin D, I'm kind of pissed because I'm like, that's all I needed. Are you serious?
Right.
So,
No,
but yeah.
thank you. Definitely, Tiff. Thanks for bringing that up. And it's funny because, like I said, I did so many things. I'm not sure, if there was one thing that helped more than anything else. But since since the pandemic, I've been wanting to support my immune system, and we learned that vitamin D was such a great way to support the immune system and diminish the possible effects if we should fall ill. I have been taking vitamin D and I've also, been feeling better during the month. So it's possible too that staying on the vitamin D supplement may have helped me indirectly also. And I always forget, I've heard you mention that before and then I always forget. So thanks for bringing it up.
I noticed that if I take it at least a week before, I'm okay. If I'm consistent, I'm much better, but at least the week before.
Okay, that's awesome. So fennel is another oil that's known for helping with hormones. And honestly, when I say known for, I'm gonna clarify that by saying like I've known fennel for being good for digestive support, and sometimes I forget that it's helpful for hormones. Fennel is one of the oils in our Digest blend, which we love for digestive support. And sometimes I forget that I should be using it for my hormones. It helps balance menstrual cycles. It is a digestive aid. It helps with our body's production of estrogen. It can help with menstrual problems and PMS. It's also known as an anti-diabetic from my wonderful reference book that tells us all the things. It has that listed. Fennel is also a vitality oil, which means you can ingest it if you don't mind the flavor, or you can put it in a capsule if you just want to take it like a supplement. Sclerescence is a blend that's also flagged for hormone support, again, topical or the vitality. It balances hormones naturally using phytoestrogens. It helps to increase estrogen levels by supporting your body's own production of hormones. And that's key when we're supporting our body naturally versus taking a pharmaceutical. A pharmaceutical can only do one thing. It acts like a robot. So if its job is to increase estrogen, it has to do that. It can't not do that. Every time you take it, that's what it's going to do. Something natural, when we say support your body's own production of hormones. If I use sclerescence and it helps my body, produce estrogen if I need it, if my body doesn't need extra estrogen, The sclerescence isn't going to act like a robot and force my body to produce something that it doesn't need. Then the sclerescence will do something else. Some other constituent from the sclerescence will do something or not, but it brings balance to our body. It's not going to overproduce something like a pharmaceutical might do.
So just to jump in really quick, that's called homeostatic.
Thank you.
It's going to cause balance. So it knows like, oh, it's not this cell receptor. We're good there. Let's go over here and help this out. That's what the oils do.
Oh, thank you for that vocabulary word. Say it again. Homeostatic.
Homeostatic. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to try to remember to put that in the notes because that's awesome. To know exactly like how that works. 2 more oil blends that are great for supporting all age groups are Lady Sclerol and Dragon Time. Lady Sclerol helps with balancing emotions, promoting mental clarity, and supporting the endocrine system while menstruating. This oil is such a pretty smell. It has so many like floral components to it. A lot of ladies use this as their perfume. And when you switch using like an artificial fragrance perfume to using an essential oil for your perfume, not only are you getting a chemical off your body, you're actually giving your body something nourishing that's going to help, which is 2 thumbs up when we can do that. Dragon Time is an oil that also contains phytoestrogens which help to balance the emotions, especially during the monthly cycle. So a lot of ladies like to use Dragon Time during that PMS period time, either right before or right at the beginning or during your cycle, when your PMS symptoms start to come on. So starting your Dragon Time during that part of your cycle. You might not use Dragon Time every day during the month. It might just be for a week or so during your cycle. Again, since I didn't struggle with PMS symptoms per se, I use Dragon Time sometimes, but I was dealing with some other things. Now, there's also some supplements that are targeted for hormone support. So aside from using essential oils, the first little bottle that you can see there is called Endogize. It's a daily supplement formulated to support and maintain a healthy, balanced endocrine system. So just like when we talked about endoflex oil being like a general support to your endocrine system, that's what Endogize does. So if you just want something global or you're not sure where to start, Endoflex or Endogize would be a good place to start. Just kind of like balance everything related to the endocrine system. Femigen supports a woman's reproductive system, and it's helpful in maintaining balance while transitioning into menopause. Now, you don't have to be on the brink of menopause to gain a benefit from Femigen supplement. This was one that I took for at least 18 months or 2 years while I was figuring out how to support my hormones. I think that Femigen was very helpful to me, in addition to the Endoflex, the Clary Sage, and the Progescence Plus. And I also use sclerescence quite often also. I ended up putting that one in capsules and just taking that daily as often as I can remember. PD 8020 is another supplement which has building block hormones in it. The name sounds funny, but it stands for the P stands for pregnenolone, 80%, and the D stands for DHEA, 20%. It says maximize internal health and support the endocrine system. It's a building block to other hormones. Now, this kind of blows my mind when I learned what pregnenolone did. If you think like Legos, right? Like I'm a boy mom, so I know all about putting Lego pieces together. Our pregnenolone is like one of those little Lego building block bricks that your body uses to make hormones. If you're deficient in pregnenolone, your body might be deficient in any hormone, right? We have so many hormones coursing through our coursing through our system, whether that's estrogen or progesterone, or, the small amount of testosterone our body needs, or even cortisol or anything, right? Anything that's a hormone, your body needs pregnenolone as a building block. If you don't have enough pregnenolone, who knows what you might end up being deficient in. If you supplement your body with that building block piece, with that pregnenolone, your body can use it for whatever it needs. That blows your mind, right? I don't know what my body needs. Let me just feed it all the Lego building blocks and it can figure out how to put the pieces together, right? Like I have this visual of like, my body building all these Lego creations on the inside. Excuse me. Also too, if we're experiencing times of stress and heightened cortisol, your body's production of cortisol might be using that pregnenolone and robbing it. And you end up deficient in your other hormones because your cortisol is robbing that pregnenolone. So if you help your body with some more pregnenolone, you can help with, again, whatever hormone your body might need to build with it. There's an asterisk by this supplement because I learned from the doctor that developed some of the Young Living supplements. If you're taking notes, write down the name Dr. Dan Purser, Purser. Dr. Dan Purser partnered with Gary Young in developing the Sclerescence Plus serum. And he knows a lot about holistic ways to support hormones. He's awesome to follow on social media. He does Facebook Lives about all kinds of different holistic health topics. I learned this piece of information from him, from one of his social media presentations. So the asterisk is, if you have had or are prone to breast cancer that's related to like that production of estrogen, there's that certain kind of breast cancer where it's hormone induced. I'm not sure if I'm using the right language, but I think you know what I mean. There's certain kind of breast cancers that play off your hormone levels and your estrogen. So if you have breast cancer that's linked to that certain kind of hormone, you don't want to take pregnenolone internally. So you wouldn't want to take PD 80/20, but you still can supplement your body's pregnenolone with a topical. And so our next slide is going to have a couple of cream-based supplements that have pregnenolone in them. So if you fall in that category, again, of that hormone-related or hormone-fed breast cancer, we don't recommend the PD 80/20, but you could use one of the cream supplements. The last supplement on this page is Hormone. It nourishes the thyroid, balances metabolism, and reduces fatigue. If your thyroid is something that you know needs some help, there's a natural supplement for that. So there's 2 creams that Young Living has that have some pregnenolone in them, along with some other things that are going to support our hormones. The first one is called Regenolone, and I actually have this. I have a testimony about this one too, so hang on. Regenolone supports proper estrogen levels. It contains wild yam, that's what's in that progesterone plus. It also contains black and blue cohosh, MSM, and essential oils. Now, I'm sure because of the MSM and the way all of these things work together, it's also used as a joint pain cream for severe pain from inflammation or stiffness from arthritis, rheumatism, and muscle joint conditions. It supports healthy nerve function. So this is like a double whammy. It helps with your hormones, but it also helps with pain that's related to some of these other issues. So I thought this was so amazing. When I learned about Regenolone, I wanted to try it. So I started just at my bedtime when I do my kind of oily nighttime routine, put oils in my diffuser. I get the Regeneron cream, just like a little pea size, and I just kind of rub it on the back of my shoulders. When I started doing that for like a whole month, I had my very first 28-day cycle in, I don't know how long, 28 days, you guys. Which is a victory, right? When that
is so big for you.
Yes. When the visitor comes knocking on day like 23 and you're like, wait, I'm not ready for you. Is a big
awesome,
deal.
Nina.
Yes. And my last cycle, I think, was like 28 or 29 days. So again, things are shifting in my body and I'm noticing it and it feels good. The other cream supplement is called Pregnenolone Plus Body Cream. It's pregnenolone, DHEA, and black and blue cohosh. So it doesn't, and it also has essential oils in it. It doesn't have the MSM or the wild yam, but it looks like a really great cream supplement if you want that pregnenolone to help your body with those building blocks. When my Regeneron is gone, I want to try the pregnenolone because I haven't tried that yet. So I'll probably just try that when I run out of the other one. It sounds like an excellent cream supplement to support hormones. Now, we've talked about so many ways to help our hormones. There's indirect ways like supporting your adrenals and your gut and your liver. There's direct ways like using essential oils and taking some supplements and using some creams. But while we're doing all of those good things, we want to make sure we stop doing the things that have been disrupting our hormones to begin with. Because we can be doing all the right things on the front end, but if we're continuing to hurt our health on the back end, we're going to be stuck in a cycle and we're never going to quite reach the goals that we're trying to reach in order to feel better. So we want to stop disrupting our endocrine system. And so the wonderful little Purple Menopause book had this great, like a top 10 list. And the first one is fragrance. Now, fragrance, if you start reading now, your challenge, I'm a teacher, I like to give homework. Your homework is to start going through your cupboards and your medicine, like bathroom cupboards, your shower, your under the sink, all the places where you keep any kind of product, lotion, shower gel, cleaning product, air fresheners. If you see the word fragrance, that's code for tons of chemicals that hurt you. They disrupt your hormones. They clog the receptor sites on your cells at a cellular level so that your body can't respond. Your cells can't respond to what your hormones are trying to do. They can also hurt your immune system. They can cause cancer. Start looking now. If you're like me, when I first looked for yucky things in my products, I was overwhelmed and it can almost feel paralyzing. But don't get analysis paralysis. What we're going to start thinking is baby steps. Look for fragrance. You can go, some people like to go area by area or room by room and start swapping out things in the bathroom and then things in the kitchen and then things in the laundry room. Some people just want to go product by product. First, I'm going to switch my multi-purpose cleaner. Then I'm going to take care of, the scented body lotion that I love to buy at the mall because it smells good, right? There's other things that we can use that smell good that are going to help our body instead of hurt it. So at my house, we say fragrance is the F word, and we don't want it on any label in the house. Formaldehyde. There are products. Remember, I grew up dissecting frogs in middle school and high school, and those frogs were kept in formaldehyde to preserve them. Gross. We don't want that, but it comes out in products that actually still have formaldehyde as a preservative in them. We don't want that. Mineral oil, which I admit the name is very misleading. We hear the word mineral and we think that it's a good thing. But if you see the word mineral oil on a product, maybe a skin cream or like a face wash or something like that, mineral oil comes from petroleum. And when you put it on your skin, it clogs your cells. It clogs those receptor sites. It clogs your endocrine system. Now, think of all the things that we grew up with that start with the word petroleum. I grew up with Vaseline petroleum jelly. I used creams and ointments when I struggled with eczema. I used creams and ointments that had petroleum, petrolatum, you know, how you read it on a label, that had petroleum in it. Get it out of your cupboards. There's other better ways. Even the chest rub. Remember the one that our moms and grandmas probably used on us that smelled like eucalyptus, but it really was petroleum with eucalyptus fragrance in it. Double whammy, right? Kick it. There's other ways. There's essential oils that we can use to put on our chest. We can make chest rubs that don't have petroleum. Parabens. Usually these pop up in things like skincare and shampoo and lotion. Usually they have a prefix like methylparaben, ethylparaben, propylparaben. Watch for those and break up with them. Kick them out of your house. Oxybenzone and octinoxate. I kind of like to say those. You don't have to remember those long names. You don't have to pronounce them and spell them. Just remember they're what's in sunscreen. They're the active ingredients in the chemical-based sunscreen. All sunscreens that spray have these chemicals. And most sunscreens that are a cream have these chemicals. That's hard to accept, I know, because we want the ease of spraying ourselves or our kids, or I can even reach my back with that aerosol if I don't have anybody to rub the lotion on me, right? Ease of use is how these things ended up being invented, but they're harmful. Companies are starting to pay attention to that and recall stuff, but not enough. The only safe sunscreen is going to be something that has the mineral zinc, or I think it's titanium oxide, and it has the logo that says reef safe, because you cannot go swimming on a coral reef with chemicals on you. You harm the aquatic life. Now, unfortunately, people love ocean life more than they love our bodies. And so animal rights activists have gone to great lengths to get that out of the oceans. And yet it's still for sale and I can put it all over my body. I have a hard time with that. So beware of sunscreen, and there are mineral-based options. Triclosan. All right, triclosan was deemed by the FDA as a pesticide. So the FDA figured out triclosan was that bad, deemed it a pesticide, and they took it out of all of the antibacterial hand soaps. Triclosan is an antibacterial. It used to, remember all those foaming hand soaps that were like antibacterial soap? That was triclosan. You won't find that anymore, but where you will find triclosan is in hand sanitizer, and get this, toothpaste. So it's a pesticide. You can't wash your hands with it, but you can still put it in your mouth. No, who's watching out for us, right? The FDA and the CDC and the government agencies, I hate to say it, they are not watching out for us. So who's going to watch out for us? Ourselves. And you know what? I will watch out for us. I will watch out for you. I care. That's why I'm here, right? And I want to help you watch out for yourself and your kids and your families. You get to be the gatekeeper of your home. That was so empowering to me after I had struggled with autoimmune disease. And I had kind of like this gut feeling that disease was being caused by our environment. But I was thinking more global. I was thinking more like gas pumps and poor air quality and smog. I had no idea that all these things were lurking in my home that could be making me sick. So hand sanitizer and toothpaste, check them. And if you want a clean option, Young Living offers hand sanitizer and toothpaste that doesn't have any triclosan and doesn't have any parabens and doesn't have any fragrance, because probably all three of those are in your hand sanitizer and toothpaste. Talc, Johnson & Johnson paid out millions when they got sued for talc causing cancer. Can you believe that talc is still in deodorant? I can go to Walmart and read deodorant containers and find talc still listed. I don't know how that's legal. Heavy metals. There are things, including medications, that have aluminum and mercury in them. Some of those medications are vaccines. Some of those medications are IV infusion medications that I had while I was struggling with autoimmune. And it was about just recently, like within the past year, that I looked up the ingredients of medications they infused me with 15 years ago. And I found listed aluminum, thimerosal, that's the code word for mercury. And it's no wonder why when I do a detox or a cleanse, whether that's just like a general cleanse or whether I'm targeting my liver and doing a specific like protocol, I detox really hard. I get a lot of symptoms of those toxins coming out of my body. And I always have to remind myself, I have no idea what went in me and what my body held on to. And I have to remind myself to detox very gently. Sometimes that's with a more gentle protocol or a lower dose of something, whether that's oils or drops of oils in a supplement or whatever. I have to be really careful because I'll get some really harsh detox symptoms. And I go, oh yeah, I had chemotherapy, I had steroids, I had infusions, I had, note to self, right? And now I know better so I can do better and I can start detoxing the stuff that was done to me.
So random, not so fun fact. Your body cannot process aluminum, but your body is so efficient, it has to do something with it.
Yeah.
What your body does with it is it stores it in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, take that.
Yeah.
And now take the research, multiple studies, research, Alzheimer's patients, or dementia in general, but this particular one was Alzheimer's. 100% all had aluminum in the brain.
Wow.
Take that for what you will.
Yeah.
But my thing is I'm not gonna even mess with that stuff.
Right.
Especially because so many deodorants have aluminum in it too. And that's, for us women, that's very close to certain tissues that we don't need. Just be mindful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Aluminum is often in deodorants. And yeah, I had forgotten to even mention that. That's such a good point. And, there's specific protocols for heavy metal detox. Like if you feel like that's something that your body needs to detox, there's certain supplements, there's certain protocols, there's certain foods like cilantro. I'm not a lover of cilantro, but some holistic practitioners believe that cilantro is great at chelating, I think the word is chelating heavy metals out of your cells. Teflon is another one of the top 10 on the list. I stopped using Teflon years ago when I got pet birds because the toxins that come off of Teflon can actually harm a bird's respiratory system. If you're still cooking on Teflon, make a little note to yourself that when you're ready to gift yourself or splurge or receive a Christmas or a birthday gift, some new cookware might be a wonderful addition to your home. I cook a lot on stainless steel. That's a challenge. There's a whole learning curve for cooking on stainless steel. But there's other ceramic type coatings that are non-stick that are not Teflon. Teflon does infuse into your food, and you'll end up consuming some chemicals that you don't want to consume.
So Nina, we have Grace in the chat. She said, I have been finding replacements for deodorant and still trying different things. Is there anything that you wanted to say to Grace?
There's some great options. Young Living does have a line of deodorants that all have excellent ingredients that don't have any of these toxic things on it. I have to give a disclaimer though to say right now, like today, the deodorants that Young Living has in their product line are currently out of stock. Those are going to be coming back as soon as they have, you know, the availability for that. Personally though, I don't use an actual deodorant. I've been using essential oils for deodorant exclusively, almost exclusively for about the past 6 years. And that's kind of personal preference. Yeah.
Nina's hardcore though, guys. Like
I use patchouli most of the time. Patchouli makes a great deodorant, but not everybody loves patchouli. Right? That's kind of I go hug trees.
So I would say that if you are looking to switch from a deodorant that you bought at the store to something that's better, just know that you will probably have to go through an armpit detox. Because I had to go through that and I didn't know. And Nina and Abria, do you remember way back when at the old church, I was like, I have red bumps. What's going on? And I had to like figure it out. So what had happened was I went from like toxic products to like, F all that noise. I'm getting everything clean. And I did it so fast that my body was hardcore detoxing and couldn't keep up with the detox. I went to urgent care and I happened to get an Asian DO who was like, hey, do you happen to use essential oils? And I was like, yes, why? And she was like, well, you might be detoxing too fast for your body. Just slow down. And I was like, okay. So I did. I backed off a little bit. I'm still using stuff. I just slowed down and I did an armpit detox, and I still do random armpit detoxes with the Aztec clay that Nina recommended me. And if you need that recipe, we'll get it to you, Grace, or whoever else wants it. It's super simple. It's like the clay and like ACV or apple cider vinegar. And then I like a couple drops of purification or endoflex.
Good one. Yeah. So after, you know, if you do a detox or a cleanse for your armpits, you can, you know, just use essential oils for deodorant. So whether you're a patchouli lover like I am, or even something like tea tree, because it is antibacterial, tea tree makes a good deodorant. Purification blend, because it has tea tree in it and it's a nice fresh scent, is great. And the other thing that we like to use for deodorant, this is going to blow your mind because it's going to sound totally insane, is the toothpaste. The Young Living Thieves toothpaste. If you take just a tiny bit and smear it on your underarm, it makes a wonderful deodorant. And it actually has more, once it dries a little bit, it has more of that deodorant feel than just putting a drop of essential oil on. So if you like the feel of deodorant and feeling like you're putting something on, and it gives kind of like, you know, like how deodorant will kind of dry out a little bit and feel like it's helping with the perspiration, the toothpaste does that. So a lot of times I'll use essential oils all, you know, fall, winter, spring. Sometimes in those hot summer months, I'll switch and I'll use the deodorant instead of my regular patchouli if I feel like I need that little bit extra to just help, you know, to help stay dry. I know. Did that blow your mind? If anybody has never heard of that before, you're going like, what?
I still have not tried that. I have not been brave enough to try it, but I will.
And let me give you a tip, the tiniest amount, like a smear, because even if not even like a pea size, if you get too much on there, it just kind of smears and it gets a little bit messy. So like the littlest bit that you can smear on your fingertip and then rub it on your underarm is perfect. And the Thieves line has a lot of different toothpastes. Like there's the one called Dentarome or Aroma Bright. I like both of those. I don't use the whitening toothpaste on my underarms. I don't know why. That just kind of weirded me out to go like the whitening toothpaste. Yeah, I think I'll keep that one just for my teeth. I don't know.
So we have a couple of comments. Abria said that she does remember when I was going through my like hardcore thing. Jessie said, oh yeah, I learned that the hard way too, like hard detox for me too. Grace says, thank you. I have used bentonite clay before too. For now, I use real lemon juice and spray it. Interesting. I've never heard of that.
Okay.
But sometimes I use oils too. So that's caught up on the chat.
Good. Yeah, lots of good ideas. The last one towards the bottom, this toxin called acrylamide is something that pops up in products like shower gels and lotions. I think it's like an emulsifier that helps everything mix together. But again, if you see that word, it's something that we want to avoid. Okay, so our hot flash protocol, if hot flashes are something that you struggle with, here's some kind of like, it's called a protocol, but it's one of those things where you could try a few things and add something on and add something on until you kind of hit that sweet spot where you're feeling better with your body temperature, right? So you would start by balancing the entire endocrine system with endoflex over the thyroid or adrenals. That's something that I do every day. So you don't have to be struggling with hot flashes to just go, I'm going to do that just to support my personal, endocrine system. Taking Femigen daily can also help with that. Using Progescence Plus daily. Sclerescence on the inside of your ankles, that's actually an acupressure point for your hormones. Or using sclerescence vitality in your Ningxia red juice. If you drink Ningxia red juice, you can put a drop of vitality oil in there and drink it. Or I would even add on sclerescence vitality in a capsule. I do that sometimes. Use a dime size amount of Prenolone Plus. Take Sleep Essence supplement nightly. That's a supplement that's specifically formulated for helping with sleep, not just for hormonal issues. Anybody who's struggling with sleep could benefit from that. And so these 6 tips, the last tip just says to keep adding items until you feel relief. So you could start and do any or all of these things to balance your hormones and see how you're feeling. This is the cycle reset protocol. So I'm not going to read each bullet point specifically. I decided, because I was curious about this, I wanted to try this cycle reset protocol and see how my body would respond to it. So I am currently on day 15, and I will have to give an update and let everybody know when I get to the end of the protocol how my body responds after the 28 days. But in the beginning part of your cycle, you start with 3 essential oils, and it's fennel, geranium, and sclerescence. And then you apply those according to this protocol for what day you're on in your cycle, how many drops you're going to wear. On day 12, when your estrogen drops, then you switch it up and reduce some of those. And then on day 13, you stop using those 3 oils and you switch over to just using progesterone plus in increasing and then decreasing amounts. This is for anybody who's experiencing an irregular cycle. It doesn't have to be caused by menopause. It's anybody who feels like they need to hit the reset button. So if you're not having a cycle for a certain amount of time, this might be something you want to try. If you are having a cycle, you would start this protocol on day 1 of your cycle. If you're not having a cycle, you could just start it. You can start it anytime and just go through the protocol and see what your body does when you get to day 28. So like I said, I'm on day 15. And also too, like I had very minimal symptoms when I started this on day 1. I felt excellent. I didn't have to take any over-the-counter medications. I also did stop, like I said, daily I use endoflex and progescence plus and clary sage, and I do a lot of hormone supporting things. I did stop using those so that I could just do the protocol as it was designed. And so right now I'm just using the progescence plus, and I'm not using all of the other supplements and essential oils, because I just wanted to see what my body would do if I did this protocol. If you catch the replay, you're welcome to take notes on this or screenshot. If you want to come back to this and hit the screenshot so that you can have the whole protocol, then you can do that too. So with Young Living, the reason why all of the supplements and essential oils that we're recommending are from Young Living is because of the quality. They have a guarantee that they call seed to seal. It's this little logo, and you're going to see that on every essential oil and product. And it's their guarantee for their quality. They don't strip constituents to make oils smell better. And that's interesting to note, because there are essential oil companies who do distill their oils authentically without any synthetics, without any chemicals. But then what they do to their end product is they take out heavy molecules, which are sometimes the ones that we think don't smell as good. It might make an oil smell more earthy. And if you strip out those heavy molecules, you can make the oil smell better. You can make it smell lighter or more pleasant. But when you do that, you're taking away constituents that can actually be healing for your body. So you're diminishing the therapeutic quality of the oil. Young Living will never do that. Even if an oil doesn't smell pleasant, I want all of the molecular constituents so that I can get the full spectrum of therapy that my body needs. I want it all. If that means that oil doesn't smell very good, then I might not use it as perfume. I might put it on the bottom of my feet, but I don't want to miss out on any molecule that plant has to offer me. They won't mix species of the same oil. They don't spray weed killers, pesticides, or herbicides, or use GMO seeds. Seed to seal means they take all of their own seeds, non-GMO, exactly the kind of seed that they want. They plant those seeds in soil that has never had chemicals on it. That's actually a step above what you would label as organic. I think organic means it hasn't had pesticides for like 5 years. This goes beyond, right? They make sure they don't spray anything. They harvest everything at the exact season and time that those plants need to be harvested. They distill them at the exact pressure, temperature, and duration that plant needs to get the full spectrum of molecular constituents out of the plant. And then they bottle everything without changing hands, without somebody cutting that oil with something else to make it, to make it more plentiful or to lower the cost. Seed to seal means from the seed till that bottle gets sealed, there's no middleman. I like foods that are farm to table, right? I love shopping at farmers markets. Up here where I live, I get to go to a local dairy and buy milk practically like right from the cow. This is farm to table with your oils. I have a friend that likes to say dirt to door. It gets right to you without any middleman. They don't distill with solvents such as hexane. Hexane is a petrochemical. Just remember, octane goes in your gas tank. Hexane is very similar with less carbon atoms. If you use hexane to distill frankincense, you can get 18% more frankincense oil out of the resin. If you're a company that just wants to make money and you want to reduce the cost of your oil so that you can sell more oils, why wouldn't you use hexane? But the problem then is there's hexane in your frankincense, making it not just not therapeutic, now you've made it toxic. Think about that. It's so easy to get so much more oil. Young Living will never use any solvents to distill their oils, to the point that they will not even clean their distillery machines with bleach or a chemical. They hand clean all of their distillery equipment so that no chemical even touches the contraption that your oil is going to get distilled in. They do spend $12,000 per acre to hand weed lavender when the industry standard is $60 per acre to spray chemicals. I just had a conversation with a friend today that was kind of wondering, she was openly curious about why essential oils at the grocery store were so much cheaper and why Young Living's oils were so much more, costly. And when I explained that to her, you're paying for somebody to hand weed $12,000 an acre. You're getting what you pay for because it's more labor intensive. And she went, wow, that makes a lot of sense.
I didn't know, Nina, and it just blows my mind because no matter how much I learn, I always learn something new from you.
Right, good.
But I had no idea that they hand washed their stuff and didn't use chemicals even on the equipment, because that's not where my mind goes, but that makes sense. I just amazing.
Heard, yeah. And I don't remember if it was a podcast or a Facebook Live. I heard Jacob Young, Gary Young's son, retelling a story of when he was with his father and he was getting ready to, some oils had been distilled and he was smelling them to approve them for bottling. And so Gary Young comes in, and I forget what kind of oil it was. I don't know if it was lavender or juniper. I can't remember what kind of oil, or even if he had said. But Gary Young goes to smell the oil. It was good to go. He just needed to give the thumbs up on bottling. And he goes to smell the oil and he's like, wait, something's not right. There's something else in this oil. What did you do? And, they're kind of going, we didn't do anything or whatever. And he goes, what did you clean that distillery? What did you clean it with? The tubes, all of the pipes and the tubes and the metal, the stainless steel drum. And
wow.
Yeah, they had cleaned it, I think, with bleach. Very young.
How was that even approved on their thing?
He knew, he sensed that oil had touched something that touched the bleach. Not that they, not like they put bleach in the oil, but do you know what I mean? It came in contact with the material that had been cleaned.
That's amazing.
He sensed it. He could smell it. He threw out the entire batch of whatever oil that was. And I don't even know if
I could totally see him doing that though.
Right. I don't even remember if he went back and re-cleaned the machines or if he made everything be re-piped and retubed. I can't remember. But the point was he threw out the entire batch of oil because the machine was cleaned with bleach. So when we look at the cost of, at the price tag on a Young Living oil or product, and sometimes I'll admit, sometimes the first time I looked at some of those prices, I was taken aback. And it took my breath away for a second when I went, oh, I really want some rose oil. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Right? But this is why no chemical will ever touch anything that comes in contact with our oils. And I'm fierce about how my body works. I'm fierce about my health. I want to make sure I never get sick ever again, like I was sick 18 years ago. So the next couple of slides are for anybody who might not have purchased from Young Living before. If you have, and you're maybe using the subscription program, which is awesome. If you've never purchased before, I'm going to give you a little bit of information, but also know that we have a 10% off discount code for anybody who's never purchased before. So if you're new here, or if maybe a friend invited you, make sure you contact your friend for an ordering link and a coupon code. If anybody needs a coupon code, please let me know. I've got some coupon codes to share. Some of our other leaders have coupon codes to share. The coupon code is for anybody who's brand new and has never placed an order before. So you get 10% off, and you can, there's some awesome bundles and kits for making a first-time purchase. So if you want a bundle of essential oils with a diffuser, or if you want a bundle of cleaning products that don't have any toxic chemicals, there's all kinds of bundles that you could choose from. But you also can create your own bundle or purchase a la carte. So you might be thinking, well, I just might want a few of those oils to support my hormones. Absolutely. You can absolutely tailor your order for whatever you need. When you look at the Young Living website, you're going to see two prices. Or if you've never ordered before, it might just have the retail price on it. Know that that's a retail price, and you are entitled to a wholesale price at a 24% discount. The discount is not just for VIP people or leaders. Like the wholesale discount price is for everybody, and all you have to do is unlock your discount. The way you have two options for unlocking your discount, and that's what you're going to see on this first little graphic where it says 24% discount, unlock your discount. New customers have two options. Option one is to subscribe. You can put any product in a subscription cart, and it will automatically reduce the price by 24%, unlocking your discount. The subscription program is awesome because you get to participate in a wellness program that's going to earn you points back for for getting free things later on. And we all love getting free things, right? Your subscription box is the way to do that by earning points. You also get so many ways to enjoy your subscription. You can choose your frequency. You can subscribe every month, every other month, or every 3 months. You get to choose. But I always want to make sure people know that when you subscribe to an item, let's just say I choose endoflex. I'm going to put endoflex in my subscription cart. Don't feel like you're locked into subscribing to endoflex every time you order. It's not really like that. When you participate in the subscription, you can fill your subscription box with anything you want. So you might want endoflex again if you run out. You might want clary sage instead. Then you just swap out. I want this instead of that. So never feel locked in if you feel like you're subscribing to an item. Think of it more like participating in a wellness program. And our leaders are great at holding your hand and coaching you for utilizing the Wellness Box program. I love meeting with people every month, and we get together or we chat on the phone, and we set up wellness goals and we help get your order ready. If you're not quite sure what you need, you might be going, well, I'm kind of struggling with this or that. What do you suggest? And myself or Tiffany or Janelle or Aubrey, any of us are happy to help you find some things that are going to be most helpful to you. Your other option to unlock your discount is to spend $100. If you put $100 of anything in your shopping cart, the price will automatically reduce and you'll get that 24% discount. You'll also get free shipping right now. There's going to be a few changes next month. Instead of free shipping, you're going to get a free oil bonus. I love getting a free oil. So if you spend that $100 in March, you'll get free shipping. In April, you're going to get something really cool for free. And I don't even know what it is yet. But also that 10%, right? If you're getting the 10% discount, that means you can even order more than $100, like $112. And when you take that 10% off, you'll still qualify for that $100. So 2 ways to unlock your discount. This other slide kind of shows you how to make the most of placing an order. So it's good to place a $100 order. It'll unlock your 24% discount for 1 year, and it'll qualify you for free shipping or a goodie for free. The better way would be to spend $50 on the Subscribe to Save program. That would unlock your 24% discount, and you'll earn 10% back in points. If you participate every month, your points increase from 10% to 20% to 25%. So there is a benefit in participating each month and just ordering $50 or more. The best way is to use the $100 in your Subscribe to Save. It unlocks your discount and you'll earn the points and you get free shipping. That's like the bang for your buck option to utilize like the best of what your order has to offer. There's also free gifts that you can qualify for if your order goes over $190, $250, $300. Then there's bundles of free gifts with purchase that you can get with your order. If this sounds confusing at all, because I just gave you a lot of information, don't get nervous. Just reach out to one of us and be like, all right, wait, like, tell me again how that works if I want to order, you know, such and such. So please do reach out if that feels confusing or overwhelming at all. It doesn't need to.
A lot of us on this call do Subscribe to Save every single month. So, I mean, myself, Nina, Abria, Rhonda, like there's a bunch of us. So we can totally help you out. We've all been there.
Definitely. Yeah. Cause I'm not sure when I was new, when I hadn't, you know, gotten savvy with the website, what do I click on if I want to order something? We are happy to hold your hand or send a screenshot to you to help walk you through the ordering process.
So is there anybody on this call right now who needs to get their kit? That way you can set up a time with whoever your leader is and they can help, or whoever the person who, you know, introduced you, if that was Nina or Abria or Rhonda, whoever it was. If you need your kit, reach out to them now. That way you can A, get the best deals, and B, get 10% off because we have coupons to give you guys that we don't want to go to waste, right? I mean,
exactly.
I love my stuff, but I want my 10% off too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And even if anybody's catching the replay, I like to do a replay as a YouTube link. And so if you're watching the replay via Zoom or a YouTube link and you need to connect with somebody, maybe you're just catching a replay and maybe you haven't connected with a Young Living leader or somebody to kind of hold your hand and coach you through, then I'm definitely happy to connect, because you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. On Instagram, I'm Black Belt Oil Hippie with an IE. On Facebook, you can find my name. Friend me, follow me, message me. I am happy to connect and coach. The next 4 slides are an example of if you wanted to fill a subscription cart with just things that would target supporting your hormones. These are just some examples. You could bundle this like on your own, like as an a la carte bundle, or you could swap out anything that I've suggested. You could swap it out for something else, because this isn't a set kit. It's just my suggestions as an example. You'll see what I mean. So let's just say you want to begin participating in the subscription and you want to fill your first box with things that will support your hormones. You could start with endoflex, progescence plus, the Femogen supplement, and swap out your household cleaner. If you're using some chemical cleaners and you want to make that your first step in taking some toxins out of your house, Thieves multi-purpose household cleaner. Your subtotal would be 116. You'll get that 10% off. You'll get free shipping and you'll get $11.62 in points because that's 10% in points. If you get 10% off your order and 10% in points, that's like a 20% bonus. What a good deal. So for example, let's just say the second month comes, you're subscribing every month. And in your second box, you want to try some other things to add to your collection to support your hormones. I would suggest clary sage, sclerescence, and fennel. The subtotal would be 102. You would get free shipping and you would get $10.20 in points. Add that to your $11.62 in points. You're already over 20 bucks in free products. In the third month, maybe you might want to try Endogize supplement, Prenolone cream, switch out another personal care product for something with better ingredients. And you could try the lavender mint shampoo. That's my favorite shampoo, so I put that one on there. Your subtotal would be $109.50. You would get free shipping and you'd get $10.95 in points. Now, and again, the announcement for the shipping change just came out today. So even if you didn't get free shipping, you would get a free oil, which is also super amazing because it would be a surprise and you'd get something for free. In the fourth month, this is going to be super cool because in the fourth month, your points are going to increase from 10% to 20%. So check this out. Let's just say that, for example, you might be out of Femogen, so maybe you would order that again. Maybe you would try a lavender mint conditioner to go with the shampoo. The shampoo is going to last you. You're not going to be out of shampoo yet. It lasts so long. And your Thieves cleaner from the first month probably isn't out either. That lasts a really long time. Let's say you want to swap out your laundry soap because laundry soap is known for having a lot of fragrances and toxins in it. Thieves laundry soap and a purification oil. Purification is going to swap out all of your home fragrances, Febreze, plug-ins, spray things in the bathroom when the bathroom doesn't smell good. Put purification in a bottle and spray it. Your subtotal will be $107.75. You're going to score free shipping or a free oil. Now look at the loyalty points. You're going to get $21.55 in points because now you're up to 20%. And you're going to get a free peppermint oil because every 3 months for the first year, if you participate every month, you get a free oil. So 3 months, bam, free oil. Another 3 months, bam, another free oil. They gift you, because it's called loyalty, they gift you for being loyal. After a year, you get a special blend called loyalty, and then you get that loyalty oil every year like an anniversary. So it's like a little party. I get my loyalty oil and I celebrate being on the loyalty program, the subscription program for another year. But that's just a little example. If anybody isn't familiar with the Subscribe to Save program, that's the way to use it to get the best bang for your buck because everybody's on a budget. Everybody needs to make the most of their dollar. And that's the way to do it, to get the discount, to get the points. Because when you add up those points, right? Almost $12 and $10 and almost another $11 and $20. I mean, that adds up in 4 months and you can spend those points on just about anything. You could save them and hoard them till you've got a couple hundred. Mine usually burn a hole in my pocket and I end up with like 100 and I'm like, oh, I have to spend them. So it's
I'm the opposite. I save it for like up to 300 and then I buy like one of the collection kits because those are better buys.
Nice. That's true. There's some kits that are a really great way to spend your points on. So honestly, the points program, the subscription program has been a huge blessing to me, where I might fill my box with, you know, whatever I need for my house. I mean, I have boxes now that hardly have any oils in them because I want my cleaning products and my laundry soap and my shampoo and my conditioner and maybe a couple of oils. And by the time I fill my box, then I'm like, oh my gosh, I hit my budget and I didn't even get my vitamin D or my calcium supplement. And I use my points and I get the stuff when I feel like when I'm going to go over my budget, then I spend my points on it. So the points can be a big blessing for if you are managing, you know, whatever your budget is for the month. That is our last slide. And so I want to thank everybody for being here and just open up if we have any more questions or comments. I can leave this on if anybody's taking notes, or I can go ahead and close our screen share. If anybody wants to like put a little raised hand or something, if you want me to leave this up, if you're still taking a look at that, or I'll go ahead and close the screen just so that we can close it out for a little Q&A for a couple of minutes.
I don't see any raised hands,
okay.
Nina, but I mean, if you guys need it, just come off mute.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And if you catch the, you know, if you go back and you want to catch the replay, you can screenshot anything that you might want to save from the PowerPoint. Does anybody have any questions before we close it up for tonight? You can pop it in the chat, or if you just wanted to ask a question, that's fine too. Yes, Grace, I know you're in the Eastern time zone, so I just want to thank you for coming. And so Grace, I would love to chat sometime too. I think Grace might have signed off already, but I'm going to reach out to Grace because if she would like to ask any questions, or I'll connect with her too. If anybody wants to connect later on in the week, I'm happy to do that. I am always available. If you're local, we like to get together, but I like to Zoom and have phone calls and have coffee chats.
I don't know everybody on this call. I'm Southern California. Nina is Washington, not DC, the state. So if you ever wanted to scan, we have something called an Itovi scan. I have one and I'd be willing to scan you, and we can actually create like a super customized like subscribe to save order for you. So what it does is it scans you and it says, oh, your body would respond best to blah, blah, blah. Right. And it's specifically hooked up to Young Living's oils and supplements and all their goodies. I'd be more than willing to help you out and scan. I know Nina has a scan. Abria has a scan. Abria's in like Nevada. Like we're all over.
So we've got Itovi scanners all over the nation.
So if you're like on this side of the United States, like we could probably find you someone.
Definitely. Yeah, and it uses the technology that Fitbit and Apple Watches use, where when it touches your skin, it gets a reading. The Itovi scanner takes that reading and it takes it one step further, and it matches Young Living oils and supplements. It's super amazing technology. So if you've never done that and you're local to Tiffany or Abria or myself, then that's available too. So everybody, thank you so much. I know sometimes our classes go a little bit long because I love sharing lots of information and having discussion too. I think that's really important when we have classes, to be able to share ideas and answer questions. So just another heartfelt thank you for joining us this evening. If you know somebody that wasn't able to join live and they're waiting for a link to be able to watch a replay, I will get that uploaded into our Facebook group. If everybody is in Inspired Oilers or Hello Oils, I'll put the link in both of those so that you can access that. And most likely it's going to be a YouTube link because those are kind of easier to just jump on and access. So again, everybody, thank you so much. Have an awesome evening and I will see you. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.